What's up, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick at Night, your weekly comic book review show. So go down below in the description. You'll find links to a lot of these books. It's a great way to get caught up and help support the channel. Let's get into Bad Idea first, though. We have Hank Howard Pizza Detective issue number 1. David Lapham is co-writing this book, and he's drawing it. Black and white, newspaper print. Definitely has like a noir detective kind of vibe, and that's exactly the story we get here. We have a present-day detective going back home because his grandmother recently passed away. There's a service for her. So we have this weird, grizzled, out-of-time type character coming in and having to deal with all the family drama and maybe attack some of the reasons why he left this town to begin with. Throughout the issue, he reflects on his grandmother. She raised him after his parents were killed when he was a child. A lot of cool memories and a lot of like little mementos and things that he took from the home as little keepsakes. Inevitably, though, like any other crime noir kind of a story, he is going to interact with locals. He's going to find that old high school fling that had a love of her life that didn't work out necessarily. He is a grizzled, kind of a jaded person at this point, but maybe she's the kind of person that can change that around for him. Just like you would expect, there is some kind of a murder mystery thing going on here. We get to see exactly how that takes place in the first issue, and we're going to uncover some of the clues and the whodunit parts in future issues. This book is really interesting because it has that classic crime noir, like 1940s, 1950s detective story and the character model and everything, but it's set into a present day. So you see a lot of the same tropes in this story that you would over there. But of course, it does have that present day twist to it. So interesting story. I love the art. I love the black and white nature of it. I love the feel of the book. It was a good vibe kind of a story. If you're into those kind of things, you like crime noir detective stuff, check this one out. All right, let's talk about Absolute Superman issue number 19. This book was freaking crazy. So much action is happening inside of here. So not only do we have Superman, Absolute Superman, but we also have Hawkman showing back up. We have Steel's origin story or just more backstory on that character thrown in here. And then we have King Shazam finally waking up from his slumber, and they're all duking it out throughout this entire issue. This is really a clash of giants. Their battlefield is Earth. They're going all over the place, and it's got some really great narration about how impactful that battle is to like the surrounding areas that they're in. The artwork and coloring is handled beautifully in this as always, so it's a visual treat. It's full of just chaos and energy and just excitement. I think the story has really picked it up since the first volume. Man, if you fell off in the first volume or two, definitely come back on and check it out now. It feels like a completely different book. It feels like it knows what the absolute assignment is. Same thing with Wonder Woman, same thing with Batman, obviously. That's the formula we need to replicate across the board. Just make it crazy, make it insane, completely over the top, full of action, great art. That's all you need. Let's go over to Matt Fraction on Batman Proper number 9. I feel like every issue in this story is its own thing. We're setting up so many different threads throughout this universe, and we're only on issue number 9, and we have no consistency as to like who our main villain is or anything like that, which actually makes it feel more realistic than it would otherwise, right? We have lots of threats everywhere. We have to deal with many different things at once. That's how the approach to this Batman series has gone so far. So what are we doing inside of here? Well, Vandal Savage is teaming up with the GCPD. They're developing these different squads that want to take down Batman and his family, basically a shoot on sight kind of a situation. They have backing from Mayor Isley somehow, and so now they're having to react to these raids that are going to happen all throughout the city. Batman grabs all of his resources, all of his family, and basically says we need to pull very key things out of our different storage units and different bases scattered throughout Gotham before they are raided. And that's kind of what we're doing in here. We're handing everybody their assignments. They're going on their own ways. Oracle is providing that coverage for them to tell them what roads are blocked and whatnot, and what kind of traps they might see in the future. Bruce and Damian certainly have their bonding moments throughout the issue. Bruce is trying to be a better father to Damian than he has in the past. He understands his flaws and everything. We also get to see Tim Drake in here a little bit. He's reminiscing. He's kind of missing, I think, the action. He's hearing those sirens. He's seeing explosions off in the distance. He feels like he should be doing something, but he's taken a life of like stepping back at the moment and just kind of living instead of being that savior. We have a new Barbara Gordon next level book coming out soon. She's locked up. She's behind bars. This story directly relates to that as to like how she got into that position. So we get to see it all unfold here to prepare us for that Barbara Gordon series. So it was a good issue, but I'm having a little bit of trouble just focusing in on what to pay attention to, really. You know, like I can't really give you a summation of what's going on in the first volume or second volume so far, besides a lot of threats are happening at once, and Batman and team are having to deal with them individually. And we're kind of forgetting, or we haven't seen some of the villains we've set up already in the previous issues. All right, let's go over to Poison Ivy issue number 44. G. Willow Wilson's doing a great job writing the story. Sometimes the creator can wear their politicalness on their sleeve. I think G. Willow Wilson's doing a great job of like balancing all that. Now, Poison Ivy is a very divisive character to begin with. She's a feminist, obviously. She wants to help the little guy. She wants to tear down status quo. She won't settle for the bureaucracy that's around or all the red tape. She wants action. She wants to fix things her way now because she's tired of waiting for other people to do it. And that's kind of the issue with Pam right now. She's taken it upon herself to take out key people across Gotham that are holding progress back or corrupting it in a way that no change is possible. And what's funny is that's effective up front, but in the long run, you're essentially going to be burning the whole entire place down, going scorched earth and everything, and you're going to be left holding the check at the end of the day. That's really an interesting way of looking at things now, I think. If we want to make change, is it through violence? Is it through trusting the process? Is the process worth trusting? Is it something we can actually navigate through or anything? Or do we take things in our own hands? It's an interesting existential dilemma that we're exploring inside the book, and I think it's handled really well. Let's go over to Dynamite next. We have Ben 10 issue number 1. Now, we have like 4 different people credited for the writing and the story for this book. We also have Robert Curry on the art. I'm not a Ben 10 guy. I didn't grow up with it, so I assume they're following the original story that was laid in front of us. So I don't know why we need 4 different people to write it and create the story for it. But if you guys know Ben 10, let me know if this followed along with, like, I don't know, episode 1. To their credit, it is very new reader friendly. You understand who Ben is. You understand the grandfather, and I think the cousin is with them on some camping trip. There's some alien race out there looking to conquer everything. There's this mystical weapon that's flying through space, and eventually Ben and this weapon team up, and we start exploring like what that means, what the power set is. We get to see some immediate threats, and we get to see the governmental response to this thing crashing on Earth. I think I do want to go back and try to find episode 1 of Ben 10 somewhere and just watch it and see if they're ripping it directly. How close all those origin stories are, but it's an interesting concept. I like the idea of it. There's a reason why this character is so popular, and so I'm going to be sticking around for a few more issues just to see where it goes in general. I will say that it has vibes to like Space Ghost or something like that. Like David Pepose is doing something similar, taking an older property and they're revitalizing it and making it into a comic book form. So I do like that, but I like the execution of things like Space Ghost or something like Power Rangers a little bit more so far, but it's not totally fair. We have way more issues over there, so we'll see what they do with this. All right, next up is the Energon Special 2026. Not a whole lot to say about this other than it gives you a little sneak peek as to what's coming down the line in the Energon universe. So if you want to get a glimpse of what the masked team looks like and what their immediate threats are or who they are, you're going to see that there. If you want to get a glimpse at Void Rivals and Transformers and G.I. Joe, it's all in there. Really short stories, but it gives you an idea of where those stories are going to go in general. All right, next up is If Destruction Be Our Lot, issue number 1. Man, Rosenberg was doing all kinds of publicity for this one. He was on pretty much every single podcast. He was all over the place doing interviews, promoting this new book, and I think that was a really interesting first issue. So this is a post-humanity type of a story. We're way into the future. We have this civilization that was built. It was highly dependent on and maintained by these robots, using artificial intelligence in pretty much every aspect. We have driverless cars. We have companions. We have historical figures and whatnot, like our Abe Lincoln character inside this issue. But we have a lot of other like maintenance drones and other miscellaneous robotics and AI that was used throughout civilization at that time. Now with humans gone, these robots are basically running their same routines without the human element. And over time, that wears some of them out. They start having existential crises. They don't understand their place, their role, what kind of choices they have. And that's really the theme of this entire story so far. We follow Abe Lincoln, and he's kind of fighting his programming in a way. He's a little bit defective. He had some physical damage. Who knows if that's going to play a role into his characterization to begin with. But he's starting to pull some other robots to his side and trying to understand and trying to communicate with them that, like, there are other things you could be doing. Why are you still doing what you're programmed to do? It doesn't serve a purpose anymore. Now, on top of that, we explore the world a little bit more. Like, is this city that we're in really all is that there is? And is there a human presence still on Earth? We're going to be exploring that some more. I think the design of the book and the look and feel and the artistic style was handled perfectly. I love the world building, the character designs. It was a really nice book. Great presentation, great design work, great tactile feel to this one. It was 48 pages, $5. So props to the team to making a long exercise comic, a great design, and just a great feel in general. All right, let's go over to Mad Cave for the next 2 books. We have Dog Tag issue number 1 from Mark Russell. Everything I like about Mark Russell's writing is on full display in this issue. Now, this book is set in the end of World War II. We follow this private who's an amateur journalist. The U.S. military want to use him to create fake articles that will be leaked to the enemy, and so they won't understand exactly what their plays are. Like, we're not going to advance over here. We're going to hold up over here. Things like that to create this like false sense of security, and then we can hit him where it hurts. It is very successful, but that's not really what the story is about. This book is about more of this private taking on that journalistic role, but also being sent over to not the front lines, but into the recovery efforts and having to deal with the existentialism of seeing the effects of war. The book title is explained through through this issue, I'll let you uncover that because it's a pretty emotional, impactful thing throughout this entire thing. So I think because this character that we're following has that writing background, he has this like poetic internal monologue that we, the reader, can experience and really enjoy and, resonate with or at least sympathize with. It is a very melancholy type book. This is Mark Russell doing what he does best, I think, like traveling to Mars. That inner monologue, the way that he told that story, I have vibes of that inside of this book. And Traveling to Mars is one of my favorite books of all time that came out a couple of years ago. So check that out if you haven't. But yeah, I had a hunch that this book was going to be something special. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Make sure to check this one out if you haven't yet. All right, next up is Speed Racer. We have issue number 8. We have Speed Racer teaming up with Racer X to save Trixie from this new gangster that just shows up. It was an awesome ride. In this issue, we introduce a new fuel source this one scientist has been working at. He's introducing it at some gala that all these racers and all these fancy people are going to. He's very proud of the possibility behind this new explosive fuel source for the racing circuit in general. Of course, inevitably, some gangster comes by and steals it, steals Trixie as leverage as well, and tries to make his escape. But Speed and Racer X will not have that. So basically the entire issue is Speed and Racer X tracking this guy down, trying to save the girl in distress and take this guy out at the same time. It's probably one of the most action-packed issues we've gotten so far, Speed Racer, and that says a lot considering every issue is insane races and tons of explosions. But yeah, this was a great issue of Speed Racer. Like I said, so much action in here. Really looking forward to seeing where this goes in general. And we're going to be, I think, starting a new arc here very soon. So like, what's our thread going forward? All right, let's go over to Marvel next. We have Daredevil issue number 2, Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbert on this one. Now, unfortunately, this book feels very safe. It feels very paint by numbers. It feels Marvel House style. It doesn't have anything in the story part that's grabbed me just yet. Yes, we do have a mysterious villain who threatened Matt Murdock in the presence of Daredevil. So we're having to uncover like what exactly that meant. Is it really Matt who's under the gun right now, or is it Daredevil and Matt combined? How much does this guy know? Why can't Daredevil sense him using his powers? So, we still have a few things unanswered there, but like the mystery around all that and how Matt's trying to solve that, there are some moments throughout the story where he has revelations of what that guy actually meant when he said that Matt Murdock is going to be killed. I think that whole revelation scene was not handled very well, and unfortunately the art is not really blowing me away either. There's some flow in the panel work I don't really like. There are some gaps in the backgrounds and things like that, and just between the pages. I think there could have been more from that point of view. It's a very safe, very static kind of a book. There's not a whole lot of excitement from an art point of view. And that's really disappointing because like Daredevil's supposed to be this high action, lots of drama, gritty crime kind of a book, and I just don't get that sense with this right now. Now, we were introduced to a detective and the serial killer crime spree that he's trying to uncover. There is a horrific element to it. It's graphic in nature, but it's not really doing anything for me, honestly. So far, 2 issues in on Daredevil, and it's not really meeting my expectations. I didn't quite know what to expect, but I wasn't expecting to not feel excited about a new series like this, especially with the Disney Plus show killing it right now. All right, let's wrap it up over in Titan Comics. We have Savage Sword of Conan. This is issue number 14. A lot of different stories in here, but the main story is written by Jim Zub, which is great because he writes the proper Conan. It's a very typical Conan book. To be honest, he's controlled this new army. He's changing their mindset of how they operate, how they attack. Like they were great thieves or whatever, but they weren't really battle ready or battle tested. Now he's getting to that point and using that army to do whatever he wants to do. One day they come across this empty caravan. They don't know where all the people went, but they investigate a little bit more and they see where they went. They were essentially sucked down into the sand, into this like paradise kind of a place. Now, essentially it turns into like a siren call type of a story, right? Like Conan's always heard of these creatures in the deep, right? That would siren out to people and they would drag them to their graves. Essentially the same thing is happening here. We have this impossible temple filled with these impossibly beautiful women, and they're, teasing them with anything their heart desires. Then Conan and his team have to find a way out of this impossible situation, right? Like, how do we get out of here? How do we escape their thrall? And what do we do about this threat? From that point of view, it's a very straightforward Conan story that we've seen before, but really the devil's in the details here. It's that extra size, newsprint quality, black and white art, just amazing landscapes, amazing character design, and just that narration and tension building throughout the issue. Even if you see some of the stuff coming and you've read this story, it's something new and refreshing, and it's really entertaining at the same time. I also like the way that they broke it up into little chapter breaks too. You think it's different stories, but essentially it's different chapters with a new title page and everything. So that was kind of cool to see that integrated in there too. At the very end of this, there is a Belief story as well. So you get to see what she's up to and what she's going to be going after and how formidable she is against even goddesses themselves. So that was a cool little addition towards the end of the story. So I still remain very steadfast in the fact that you should be buying everything Conan proper and Savage Sword of Conan. It's the best bang for your buck. They're always incredibly well drawn, incredibly well written, and it's just something that I look forward to every single month. Now, before we wrap things up, I'm also going to give you a sneak peek of what I'm interested in next week, so you can read those and follow along with the conversation here. All right, guys, let's take a peek and see what I'm going to be grabbing next week. That is May 13th, 2026. We're going to go over to League of Comic Geeks. We have Absolute Batman issue number 20. Love that story. We have the Absolute Robins coming soon. We have Absolute Martian Manhunter. This is going to be wrapping up very soon. I'll be definitely checking that one out. We have Endgame. I'm not too excited for that one, to be honest with you. I'm kind of skipping out on this, just reading the proper book for now. Something's Killing Children. I'll be grabbing any of the Jenny Frison covers for sure. Firestorm issue number 2. Great issue number 1. Great introduction to the character. I'm really interested to see where this one goes. Bleeding Hearts number 4, one of my favorite books out right now, especially in the DC Vertigo line. I think the story can turn into something very special as it goes on, so do not sleep on Bleeding Hearts. Of course, we have Geiger number 23. Anything Geiger I'm picking up because I love that series. We have TMNT issue number 18. Very interesting story going on right now. I love that we have the brothers back together finally, so I'm intrigued into seeing where this story is going to go after this arc. We have Barbara Gordon Breakout number 1. The last Batman proper book tells us how we got to this point. So we're going to see what the breakout looks like in that issue. We have Dork number 4. I'm starting to grow on Dork, man. I really like this series a lot. I think it has a lot of great themes and great aesthetic to it, and I'm really starting to fall for the character. So good job on Dork. And then we have Null issue number 5, another book that's, still on my pull list. It's just keeping me intrigued enough to see what's going to happen next. Of course, we have Thanos showing back up, so that's going to be a great rematch right there. We have Spectacular Spider-Man Brand New Day number 1. Excited for that one. I heard the call for help. I'm jumping on there, man. I'm going to see what the first couple issues look like. And then we have Space Ghost issue number 11, one of the most solid, most consistent books month after month. Everything Space Ghost is incredible, so definitely check that out. I've read a lot of Forged in the past. We have issue number 10 coming out. I don't know if I pre-ordered this one, to be honest, but if I can get my hands on it, I might check this one out. And then as we go, we have Arcadia issue number 5. I'm still hanging around for this one. We have the Miranda brothers doing a great job on just a great story, good design and everything. So we're going to continue this and see where it goes. We have Destination Kill number 1. Cool creative team on this one. It's a new Oni Press number 1 with a cool design. I'll check it out too. Then we also have the Murder Drones Home Special issue number 1. It's going to be kind of like an origin story, I think. I'm not too sure where it falls as far as the episodes go on YouTube, but I'm going to grab this one so me and my daughter can pick it apart. And then as I skim down the rest of the ones here, not too sure if there's any other ones that are on my list, but those are the ones that I'm mostly looking forward to across the top. I hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek as to what I'm going to be picking up in the next week. All right, guys, that's it for me. Make sure to hit that bell notification if you haven't yet. That will alert you every time I put out a new video so you won't miss it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.